Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome them to the room.
Yes.
In a way that only we can, from the heights, from Hamilton. Woo! Critically acclaimed. From CSI, Law and Order, Angela's Mixtape, and now Warriors. Give it up for Eisa Davis.
Hey, this is so dope. What's going on? Hey.
Give a big round of applause. And we got my brother Lin-Manuel Miranda right here. Get this man a round of applause.
The great one.
The great one.
You get some claps.
You get some claps. First of all, you've been on the show before, and I was explaining to the audience. First of all, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Eisa, welcome for the first time.
Thank you so much, Sway. Thank you. This means so much.
You're so amazing. You know, excuse me. Let me talk to Eisa for a second. You're so amazing, and I was telling the audience a little bit about your family's history, you know, and the kind of work your family has done in our community and globally, you know, and I've never got a chance to say this, but thank you. I got a chance to thank your auntie, Angela Davis. Give her a big round of applause.
Yes.
Powerful person for the people, activist, creative, and still 10 toes down. And so it's an honor to have you on this show. I'm from the Bay Area. I watched your evolution, your trajectory. You've been extremely consistent in what you do, powerful. You're a change agent, you know. Okay, and I want to say welcome to the show, Eisa. Yee!
Wow, thank you so much.
Come on, man. And then this brother right here, every time he came on our show and did a 5 Fingers of Death.
That's right.
I don't know if y'all know what that is, but that's when our DJ, DB, or whoever our DJ is, throw on 5 different beats, and I throw out words, and he had to come off the top of the head and freestyle. Because when we went and saw Hamilton together, Heather B, and saw him doing Hamilton, I was so blown away. I never saw anything like that. And I never saw hip-hop utilized in such a way, and it was able to expand what the culture is capable of doing. And expand our vision, right? And what we're able to do as creatives. So I always say salute to you, brother.
Yes.
You're a hip-hop head. You're a hyena!
Yes.
This Warriors project, let's talk about it. Give them a round of applause for this. Everybody saw the movie Warriors?
Yeah.
Okay. In 1979, when it first came out, that movie, this is before movies like Colors or, you know, other movies that were gang-oriented, right? Yeah. And this movie, I remember being a kid, too, and watching Warriors, and I somehow I identify with that movie because I felt like I was a warrior. You know what I mean? And I felt like their journey trying to find, you know, safety. Their journey trying to find this gang that got ostracized and got accused of doing something that they didn't do, and they were just trying to get home and get back to safety. And during the process, they had to go through all of these different obstacles. And I was like, damn, that's like growing up black in America.
Hello.
Right? You got to go through all of these different obstacles.
And I think that's why it's still with us and why people still love it. It doesn't judge its characters. It doesn't judge the situation. It throws us in with the warriors, and we all want to get back home, and we all want to leave our house knowing we're going to come back home at the end of the night. And so, you know, and also everyone just looks so badass in it.
And it was so creative with the just different worlds that the Warriors had to travel through, being in different
boroughs.
You felt
like you were being shown a secret New York.
Exactly. It was incredible. You must have been 2 years old or 4 when this movie came out.
I was -1 when it came out. I saw it at my friend Adam Diaz's house. His older brother Jason had the VHS, and I know I saw the VHS version because I remember seeing the WPIX version later with the bleeps in it.
With the bleeps, right?
This was not the bleeps version. I don't recommend showing it to your 4-year-olds. I was way too young to see it, but like it imprinted on my brain, and so every time I saw a map on the subway, I would think about the Warriors and how far it was from the South Bronx all the way back to Coney. And so it's just taken up, you know, if our brains are like Inside Out and Inside Out 2, there's like a Warriors Island in my brain, and it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, man. And Eisa, when did you learn about the Warriors?
So this is wild. Okay. I have to confess. This is a confession.
Uh-oh. This is it.
I knew all of the samples, but I'd never seen the film. I had never seen The Warriors as a film. I mean, I'd seen like, you know, other films around like Wild Style and like Beat Street,
okay.
Breaking, all of
Star
those.
Wars,
Right,
all
yes,
of those
exactly. But I had never seen The Warriors until Lin asked me in on this project. And it's really interesting that, you talked about what my lineage is.
Yes.
And the thing that really stood out to me when I saw the film is the Peace Summit with Cyrus. Right? And the thing is that is something that is based on reality. Not the makers of the movie may not have known this, Walter Hill and Frank Marshall and Larry Gordon, who gave us our blessing as we created this album. But there was an actual peace summit of all of the gangs in New York City in 1971, led by Benji Melendez and the Ghetto Brothers. And they actually created a piece, and that's what really stood out for me. And that was something that I wanted to keep alive in our adaptation of the movie.
In the movie, Cyrus, who was the head of the Peace Summit, ends up losing his life. Is that what took place in 71?
Well, no, but the Peace Summit itself happened because of a death of someone named Black Benji. And then in 1971, that Peace Summit led to all of these gangs becoming more community organizations, right? Taking care of each other. And then to really what we now know of as hip hop, because they became crews who were like, let's battle each other with rhymes. Let's break, let's spray and let's DJ and let's have that be the way that we release our aggression. You know what I mean?
As well.
Yes, exactly.
You just broke that down. Yeah. See what I told you who's here? And then this guy had this idea of making this album, right? This Warriors album. And so it's like, I want to make this album. Who do I get to partner up? Let me find Nas.
Word.
Let's find Nas. I mean,
talk about that.
It was so unreal. I'd been talking to him about another project because, he was thinking about doing something in the theater space for hip hop's 50th anniversary last year. And so we were talking about that. Like, what does the Nas Bruce Springsteen one-man show look like? And by the way, I'm first in line for that show whenever it happens.
I'm
still pending. TM.
Right,
Don't take that. But he asked me, what else are you working on? I go, I'm working on this Warriors album with Eisa Davis. He was like the Warriors? And his eyes got like saucers. And he's a producer on our album. He was our biggest champion. He opened so many doors for us to help us explain this concept because it's a concept album. We're not making a movie. We're not making a show. It's like 26 songs and you make the movie in your head when you listen to it.
That's happening.
And so he was so helpful in terms of just opening the doors to get this dream team of artists on this album.
And then you got Mike Elizondo too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the third member of this crew, and he produced the album. We spent 2 weeks in his studio outside Nashville with just the baddest musicians on the planet to play all the music first, which when you write a musical, that's not how it works. You have your day off between 8 shows a week, you record all the music as fast as you can. To get the luxury of playing with session musicians, amazing musicians, and finding the songs with them was really incredible.
Mike worked with Mary J. Blige, right? 50 Cent.
Every bass line from every Dre tune, after
Eminem,
2001.
Right.
That's him on bass.
But he's also so versatile, which was really important for our album because we just play with so many different genres. You know what I mean? He was oh, you want to do a metal song? Great. You want to do an R&B boy band song? I got that. He could do absolutely everything, and he is just such a cool customer. You know what I mean? Just holds everything down in this really beautiful way that just helped our process so very much. Can't thank him enough.
Yeah. Okay. Heather B, jump in.
I do want to jump in.
Heather should have been on the album.
No. Next time. But I kind of want to ask about that, Lynn, and if you guys can share as much as you can. We come from the hip hop culture. It is so important. You wear this imaginary badge of honor that you write your own lyrics. No ghostwriters. Right. No ghostwriters whatsoever. And if you ever get found out, it's kind of over for you, especially 100%. At that level. So what were your nerves like coming to Nas, a Busta, a Lauryn, all of these amazing MCs, in the culture.
There's nothing more stressful than writing lyrics for writers, for other brilliant writers. Right. And that's essentially what we were doing for all our MCs. And we had to get them to have the perspective shift of, this is not your verse. I'm not ghostwriting you. You're playing Manhattan.
Right.
You're playing Brooklyn.
Right.
You're playing a role.
Right.
Because otherwise, it's a non-starter. I remember Cameron being like, but everyone else is doing the lyrics you wrote too, right? Like, he did not want to be caught out and be like the only one.
I know, and Busta was just like, you realize this is the first time I have ever rhymed anyone else's lines.
Yeah, but just imagine you're like going to play your little 16 for Nas, being like, and then you would sing these. And I was, maybe the most nervous I've ever been in my life was like in a car with Nas, like playing him the verse I wrote for him, and me doing like the temp vocals to play it for him.
Did you do the antics too? Did you rap along? Did you perform for him?
I'll tell you the opening metaphor though, because the opening metaphor is a Queen's metaphor, and it's a chess metaphor. Queen's Gambit, pawns out, control the center. And I went on Genius.com and like LexisNexis, has Nas ever used this in a rhyme before? Because if there's a Queen's metaphor, he's used it. And I couldn't find one. I mean, there might be a mixtape or something that he used it on. But anyway, I press play on the track and he hears Queen's Gambit. He goes, man. Like he found the one I never used. So I felt very proud of that. I felt proud to surprise Nas.
Yes. That's your hip hop moment. And we're talking about the first song on the project is called Surviving the Night. Right?
Survive the Night.
Yeah, Survive the Night. And I had a chance to get the project in advance, but I didn't get any credit, so I didn't know who was on it. I just said, all right, let me listen to it. And I'm listening to it. And that first song just sets the whole tone. Yeah, and Raekwon is on that too. Was that who was on that?
No, it's Ghost and
RZA. Ghost and RZA is on it, representing every borough.
Busta.
Yeah.
Chris Rivers.
Who
I first saw freestyle on your show. Oh my God, Pun's son got bars.
Big Chris Rivers, Big Pun's son. And he's just one of the most incredible.
And he came on his show and did the most incredible freestyle I'd ever heard. And I was like, oh, shit, Big Pun's son is unbelievable.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, shit, Lin-Manuel is using our show as reference point. Get the game from us, man. Tracy G.
Two things. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. Because this is a conceptual, theatrical album, and I feel like the timing is perfect because we're all experiencing audio in a different way, whether it's through audio books, whether it's through podcasts. And I love, Lynn, when you were talking about, it's almost like making the listener the creative director because you're involving their imagination as well.
I love that.
And I'm wondering, was there ever a sense of surrender? Because this sounds like it could be straight to theater, straight to the stage. Was it something that you had to like relinquish with not being able to view how?
On the contrary, it was so freeing.
We loved it
because
we didn't have to.
It was just so songwriter centric. We didn't have to worry about, okay, we need 16 extra bars here because there's a costume change, or we got to move that set on. Like it was just about, what are the songs need to do to serve the story? What are the sounds we need to hear? Eisa's such a thorough playwright that, if we're introducing a Molotov cocktail in song 9, she's like, but we have to introduce the bottle of gin before that so that they have the ingredients. Like making sure we set up the gun in Act 1 to go off in Act 3. So no, it was free.
Yeah, we had so many people in this record that would never be able to do 8 shows a week. We would never be able to, we got them for whatever, 2 hours in a studio.
That's true.
Right? So it was so amazing because we got to have this level of artistry on the record, and oof.
And you guys
I still can't get over it, that it's actually real.
You can randomly clap, it's all right. It's a lot of energy in the room, right?
Also, to quote you, Eisa, you once said that you approach every play trying to answer a question that's haunting you.
Yeah.
And I would love to know what the question and perhaps the answer to that was with the Warriors.
That is, wow, research. Okay. So,
welcome to Sway in the Morning.
But, well, Lynn came to me and, like I said, the whole concept of peace and how it is that we can maintain that, work for that when there are so many reasons why there's just so much strife among us and in the world. And I think the question that I had in Lin's idea of changing the Warriors to being a women's gang and changing Cyrus to be a woman, Ms. Lauryn Hill, is of course who we got to sing that song. I just was really just kind of like, well, how do I see this through? How can this truly be a women's story, and not just women doing men's things?
Okay. Yeah, there's a difference.
So we had to just make sure that all of those obstacles along the way, right, where there's some people who are, catcalling them or dismissing them, belittling them in the way that we as women, experience, or just the kind of thing. I mean, we're both from the Bay, and I remember being a kid and just having all kinds of like crazy things happen on the street with like, flashers and
Pablo.
all of the, oh my goodness, Shattuck, at the BART station.
Big pimp culture.
Yeah.
You go ahead and say it.
Yes. and what we wanted to do was to see how it is that these women who are unarmed, only have their bodies, their wits, their loyalty to each other, how it is that they can make their way home and actually feel that they're not just surviving, but thriving, that there is a reason why they need to be alive. And that is to continue to create this peace.
Amen.
I love this, man.
Thank you.
Give him a round of applause, man. I want to actually, when we don't normally do this, but it's such a powerful song. And the fact that you chose Lauryn Hill for Cyrus. Why? There's a lot of choices you could have made, but why Lauryn?
There was no other choice. There was no plan B.
Okay.
Because, all these years later, she's Miseducation is still on everyone's top 5 list.
Yeah.
So everyone's favorite hip hop or R&B album of all time. Her musical and moral authority is so unquestioned that who else could call a peace summit in the Bronx at midnight and have everyone come? Like it just feels credible. And I was lucky. I'm so lucky. Our toe in the door for making that happen was that she had admired Hamilton. She'd come to Hamilton and enjoyed it. And I heard that from her manager. And so we sent a love letter to her via her manager and like the Logic session with the temp vocals. And I just texted Suzette every week being like, here we go. And she was busy. She was touring Miseducation. We'd be like, oh, she's in Brazil this week. And then one day we got a Dropbox and it had vocals and it had background vocals from her background singers and her own arrangements on top of it, of what we had sent her, but that she sang the song we wrote, again, talking about MCs.
Sang the ink.
Like, so it's like the great highlight of our career is that she sang a song we wrote.
Who did the reference vocals?
Our friend Anissa, who plays Cleon on the album.
Okay.
Yeah, you know her from Freestyle Love Supreme.
Yeah.
She said Suzette.
So this is why this is absolutely, you're blowing my mind. Suzette is my best friend.
What?
Of course she is.
What? Like, and everything is so top
her
secret.
sister.
Like my sister. Everything is so top secret. I had no idea any of this was going on.
Good.
So I'm listening to you, and I know what my best friend does for a living. And I'm like, did he just name drop my best
Hey,
friend?
listen, Suzette made it happen. We love Suzette.
Yeah.
Is she here?
So Suzette is here.
No.
I kid you not, because we're going to Italy tonight. Like, we're leaving to go to Italy on like a whole girls' food trip. She's here.
She's here?
Like in the building.
In the building, because I'm literally getting on a plane, and as soon as I leave you, she's here.
What?
We gotta bring her in.
We're going to Italy.
The woman that made it happen. There's
She's here. Like,
surprise.
like it's not like this is not even a joke right now. This is so stupid. This is so stupid.
Oh, it's you. You made it happen.
It's you.
Yo, give me
Yeah. Come on. I can't.
That's Suzette
This
Williams.
is not written. Like, this is not
She
even.
made it happen. She made it happen.
Like, I'm not even kidding.
That's crazy, right?
Like, we're going to Italy. Like, that's.
She's one of the people in the music business who's responsible for a lot of huge artists' success.
Yeah.
Like Lauryn Hill. She played a significant role from the beginnings of her success. Suzette is one of those songs.
This was like Oprah. Look behind the door. It's crazy.
Her son is a intern for us. So Suzette's son, Lonnie Light, interns.
Wow.
So it's that close.
It is, and you know what? You know who else is on our record is DJ Reborn.
Reborn,
yes.
She did the scratches on
Reunion Square.
Reborn,
yes.
Yo, man, and we're not on this project. I don't understand this, right?
Don't worry.
There's got to be a sequel.
Next project. Let's play the song.
Yeah, great.
Okay, we're going to play the song. It's If You Can Count.
That's right.
Yeah,
If You Can Count. And this is, when I heard this, I didn't even know Lauryn was on Suzette. I didn't even know Lauryn was on the project. And the song came on. Take a listen to this. Wow, Warriors.
Wow.
The one, the only, the inimitable.
Support this one.
Yeah. It just, her voice. And then that message, it just messes with me still, you know?
Man,
You
gonna
try to sing
not
it?
in front of these two. I normally do.
Come on, it's
Not
still
in
early.
front of these two.
This makes theater so accessible as well. Like, I feel like you guys are also with this project, like, democratizing theater, because a lot of folks may not have the funds to go, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what's so exciting to me. I mean, I lived inside the Hamilton experience, and I remember when the album was just going all over the world, and that was everyone's way of experiencing it. But we could only serve the meal 1,400 people at a time inside the Richard Rodgers Theater, and this is not like a reflection of the thing we made. This is the thing we made. And everyone gets it at the same time.
Course.
And I did this show called Passing Strange, which is actually how Lin and I met, because he was doing In the Heights off Broadway and I was doing Passing Strange. And that show was filmed by Spike Lee and put on Netflix. And because of that, so many more people saw it. Like, I have met people come up to me and say, that is the reason why I realized I could be Black and an artist. That's the reason why I moved to New York, because of that, accessibility.
Yeah. Beautiful.
You want to ask it, Heather, or you want me to ask it?
You can ask, because we both have the same question. Go.
When is the play coming?
I'm like, we're like the
$96,000 question.
96,000. Damn. Y'all know the lines. Well, we don't have any plans, honestly. Like, believe it or not, it's very hard to get all these artists on one record. Yeah. So we've really spent all our time just making this thing, and selfishly as songwriters, making sure the story hangs from song 1 through song 26. And then, I think if people respond to it, we're both theater artists, so we'd love to explore this as a theater piece. But we got to do the hard part first. Which is get our dream artists and have their fingerprints on the roll from jump.
I love this. But please give them a round of applause. And you changed the Warriors, the cast, to women. You got Lauryn Hill on here. Yeah. You got Eisa part of this. Is as many, I'm sure, other powerful women. This is the year of the woman, if you ask me. Especially when our Bay Area. Our Bay Area resident, our Bay Area resident, Oakland, California, running to be the most powerful person on the planet.
Say that.
Right.
Come on. That's talking about Kamala Harris, all right? I don't care what folks' politics are. I'm sharing with you what mine are. I've watched this woman over the years, and I know the difference between the disinformation and what she's actually done. I've been in the community in the Bay, early 2000s, and I actually received an award from her for community service because she was always 10 toes down as far as I can see. Yeah. But how does this make you feel, Lisa?
You mean being from the Bay?
Being from the Bay. You see this woman, especially considering your legacy and who your auntie is.
Yes.
Well, it's just, of course, I think anyone who has this identity is just hyped.
Yeah.
To see that this is a possibility, right? That, we have wanted women in leadership for so very long, And then, of course, the fact that she's from the Flatlands, which is from also where I'm from. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Is that a set trip? They're in deep Bay speak.
It's true, It's just So,
Wow.
and then again, you know, the fact that she's not just black, she's Indian.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
That is important.
Yes.
You know, that we just realize it is not a black and white thing, you know, in this world, in this country. So it's just a very powerful moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I can't wait for everybody to vote.
Vote.org.
You want to chime in on that, Lynn?
Yes, go vote. Vote early. You can vote early in New York if you're here in the studio with us.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Man. The Flatlands, just for
for context reference,
Lynn, me, Tracy, everybody in here.
Well, as I to understand it, if you in Oakland, you got flat Oakland, and then you got the Oakland Hills, and then people who the further up the hill you live, the higher the tax bracket you probably live in, right?
Yep.
Is that what you know?
That's what I know.
Yeah,
That's what I know.
Easter's from the Flatlands,
right?
And they didn't have no money.
Where you from? Just like coupons, you know, coupons, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I'm from
Food
the land.
stamps.
It's so flat. I'm on a shoreline. That's all that. I grew up on 23rd Ave. So, you know. Oh, so anyway, that's some geographical tips. All right. Lin-Manuel, so do you have a new top 5?
I don't remember what I told you last time.
That's why I said no.
Gosh, I don't remember what I said the last time I was here.
Well, who are you listening to now, then? Let me ask you
That's
that.
great. Yeah.
Who am I listening to now? Well, honestly, like R.I.P. Ka, I'm going through Ka's back catalog. That was someone who I'd heard a couple of songs, I'd heard a couple of features, but hadn't done the deep dive yet. I thought I'd have more time. I think we all thought we'd have more time. And so I've been listening to Ka since he passed. And tragic that I'm learning so much more of his amazing music, sort of, you know, now posthumously.
Ka's a Brooklyn MC. Good guy, man. We see him everywhere all the time. Staple in the hip hop community here, especially the underground.
Yeah. And love to Mimi Valdez, his wife.
Yes. What about you, Eisa? I'm just curious too. When you're writing raps, you know, you know what I mean?
It's like, who are you listening to? Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I really always have loved just De La, period.
De La Soul.
Period. Wow. You know? Yeah. And I always go back to listen to Public Enemy, and that's kind of like inspiring this one Bomb Squad produced sound that we have on the album.
And but, the skits on the album are very inspired by De La Soul is Dead. When you're like, boom. Our version of that is the dong, dong.
Yeah. But when I first came out of college, I worked as a hip hop journalist. So I worked for Rap Sheet, and so that meant that I was like, I know it's wild. I was hanging with the Far Side. I was Sheena Lester, everybody like my very first And like Freestyle Fellowship, my first interview was Diggable Planets on the set of In Living Color.
Eat the chocolates. Talk to my brother.
Cool like that.
So it's just, but also I grew up playing classical piano and flute. I grew up listening to so much jazz, so much world music. I love pop of all origins. So when it comes to what, like this morning, I was listening to Joni Mitchell, I was listening to Hajira, I was listening to, Amel LaRue. So it's just like, I love just being able to have the full multiverse of music. And that is what really inspires me. And I think Lynn is the same. And so is Mike Elizondo. We're all just eclectics, when it comes to our music loves.
Well, I want to say, shout out to Prince Paul too.
Prince Paul Thieves.
It's
a huge one.
He was big on those skits that we're talking about, right?
Steady slobbing.
All the references. It's a jukebox.
And thank you for what you do for hip hop as a culture.
Yes,
thank you.
It's necessary. We always talk about representation, right? It's phenomenal that you could introduce something to someone like Nas, who's a staple in this, that he's never heard before, and imagine what that does for him now when he goes back to the drawing board. I love listening to people rap and express themselves through rap, and I feel great afterwards. A lot of music has a lot of pain in it, right? And this has pain, but the way it's being presented is empowering. And so you're showing other artists that we could write, and we could keep writing about the pain, but we could be creative in how we do it, right? And it could have an end goal at the end. So thank you for what you're doing for the culture, brother. Your contribution is unique and different, right?
That's very kind of you.
Thank you, brother.
One of one.
Man, give that man a round of applause.
God bless.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. Eisa Davis.
Yo, thank you so much.
Royalty.
So good meeting you in the flesh.
Thank you.
Warriors, get the project out now. Warriors, get the project.
Come out to play.
And on that note, we have nothing. Well, thank you to our studio audience.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys have a great day. Stay on the right side of positivity. And on that note, we have nothing left to say.